Greetings. Do you want to own a more than 50% market share of your business? Yes, then you need to listen to my guest this time. You know why is it important? You might be thinking, oh, no, 50% is too hard because there are so many other companies. I am 5% and 10%. Is it good enough? If it's, then you may not be, you may be in the wrong business. Why not you invent a new market altogether for yourself? That way, there are so many companies have done it and they dominate everything in last few years alone. Let me give you the example. Apple, they invented something new. In fact, they improved it. It was not their own product, by the way. It was just improved product. And after the improved, now everybody has it in their hand. They own the market for a smartphone, or you name everything else. In fact, they own our life these days, by the way. Uber, Airbnb, and the diamond ring. Diamonds, when they invented it, nobody knew about that. Now they actually know for every wedding or every special event, the ring is the most critical one because they own that market. Diamond, the moment you mention about diamond, you feel so special. That reminds you something good in your life about to happen or happened in the past. My guest special is he helps companies to invent a new market. He's not a new in this one. They have invented over $100 billion market value for their clients and themselves and for their clients. And in case you don't know me, my name is Mohammed Siddique. I'm the host of Growth Hacking Show, and we try to bring interesting, new, fresh ideas, content, so that way you can actually learn. So take some time off from all the distraction, and you can learn so much from that. I will be student just like you on this show because I want to invent myself too. Just like so, we will be learning together. So please join me to give a warm welcome to my guest, Adam Vasquez. He is the founder and CEO of Merit Marketing. You can see the M is the logo for the company. And please join me to give a warm welcome to Adam. Adam, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Mohammed. Thanks for having me.
Adam, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get into this merit marketing and inventing new markets?
Yeah. So I've always wanted to do. I've always enjoyed doing something new. I always liked the newness of things, and frankly, I always liked the competition and winning markets. And I could explain even from when I was a young, like a little boy, I used to collect advertisements and watch them. And now it's expanded, right? So I had a long corporate career as a global, Fortune 100 CM, Chief Marketing Officer for several different companies. And they were great companies. I just got frustrated though that I saw all of these other companies struggling for market leadership and being number one. And I understood, and I had developed a process and really uncovered a process that I called market invention. So I really wanted to take that to the world broader than just the companies I was doing this with. And when I talk about market invention, we talk about market invention, it's not really my process. I kind of was the first person to observe and discover this process. So it's really the process for becoming number one. Right. And you used the De Beers example with diamond engagement rings, Apple, obviously some very iconic, but this has been going on since the dawn of time. I mean, even before pre-internet, the best part about this was pre-internet, you had, say, sliced Wonder Bread, right? So what did you do when you heard about the Wonder Bread? They spent all the money on advertising. You were listening to the radio, saw it on TV, and you went to the store and bought Wonder Bread because you wanted sliced bread. Now, you could do that in the past, but now today, because of the internet, you hear sliced bread and you go out and you search online and find whoever the best is in that category. And chances are you're going to spend the money with the market leader. You may not realize they're the market leader, but they're the market leader for a reason. The Geico versus State Farm is another perfect example. Geico spends $1.6 billion, according to Ad Age, on advertising annually. Okay. You would think they're number one, but they're not. They're behind State Farm. State Farm only spends $300 million. Now Geico's been able to win against some of the slower competitors in the market, but they flatlined. They flatlined to State Farm. So what is stopping them from being number one if they're spending basically to be everywhere, omnipresent and virtually saturated the market and spending $1.6 billion? Well, the reality is there's this unseen force that's keeping them in their place, and it's called this market invention force. So when you hear say 15% or more on Geico, all they're doing is creating awareness to the insurance market, meaning like, oh, I need to go check my rates. And when you go check your rates, you're going to end up spending whatever you think is the best. And chances are it's actually a State Farm, because they invented the field agent model that we still have today. So until somebody changes the way we do insurance, State Farm will always own that market no matter what. So if you're advertising today or doing digital transformation or sales, it doesn't matter. And you're not number one, you're actually spending money to create awareness to the market that you're not number one in. And that money for those new customers are going to number one. So then what do? You change it and you flip it so that you invent a new market. And so when your competitors come into your market, just like it was hurting you when you advertise in someone else's market, now it helps you. So when they advertise, they get people aware and they come to your market, and then they spend money on you, and you get to dominate and grow fast. And this is in every example that Mohammed, that you just said in the introduction. This is what happens. So if you don't understand the physics of this, it will hurt you. And so for me, it was seeing enough pain and wanting to get out there and wanting to do my own thing, but also this needs to be told, right? People need to know this so we can help people. And so that's why I'm just grateful to be on the show here and be able to share this story with you and your viewers.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so honored for this, and we are so thankful for this great information, because something is so inventable, and we can actually anyone can use it anywhere in the world in any market, or this is only works in standard markets.
Yeah, it can happen anywhere, right? I mean, and it doesn't have to be a product like Apple. It could be a channel like Netflix did. It could be virtually anything. It could be new naming, like what HubSpot has done by calling this thing called inbound marketing. Yeah. They made it up. It's a market invention. Now we have this huge inbound conference that has 21,000 people attend. Yeah. They were behind all these other marketing automation software. Now they're number one. This is how it works. So if you understand how the physics work, it's great, and it can liberate your business. And that was one of the big aha moments for me is when we were doing this, and I didn't know what it was called when I was a chief marketing officer in this Global 100. I was just blindly doing this. So I dug into it more and more, and I realized, like, oh my goodness, like, good Lord, this is exactly what's happening, and nobody understands. People are flying planes and don't even understand the aerodynamics. So now that we're able to do this, it changes everything, and this changed everything for me as a business owner myself too.
Wonderful, thank you so much. So as we progress into the conversation into this, so before we talk about how to achieve and what are the success secrets, we want to know what not to do. So what are the top 3 missteps to avoid to grow your business based on your
So number 1 misstep. If you are me too in an industry, and I'll use some real basic ones. If say you're an individual executive coach, okay? If you do not have a point of view, something that differentiates you, that new concept or new way of doing things, you are just going to be the noise. You're going to be the same thing as everyone else. And this is why it's hard. It's hard to sell. It's not hard to sell if you have something new that people want, okay? Then you're taking orders versus the other way, trying to scrap for scraps, you know? So first is you have to have something different and a strong point of view that is completely unique. And it has to be polarizing. People either got to love it or hate it. There can't be middle ground, never. You know, and it's true. So accountants, if you're watching the show, you're all the same. You need to change. You know, it's the truth. And the reason why you specialize in a vertical market is because you have no differentiation. So you have to specialize in a vertical market. The same for lawyers. It's virtually every industry. And if you're going into an industry in a crowded space and there's a lot of competitors in there, and you're going into a market, like say you're an advertising agency, you're just going to be another advertising agency. Nobody needs another advertising agency, and everybody has one, just like everyone has accounting firms and everybody has, you know, lawyers and all that stuff. So, and this is why people are like, oh, it's all about relationships. Yes, it's about relationships. Relationships matter. But if you're not providing unique value, the relationship game doesn't matter anymore. You know, just like the relationship salesperson is obsolete. So that I would say there's a lot of missteps, but that's the number one. If you can focus on that and really understanding what pain and what's not being addressed in the marketplace today, and making a big idea and thinking big, and then focusing in on what that is and shifting and pivoting yourself to provide that, because there's something, everybody is unique. I believe that. And everybody is creative. It's just that they don't have the tools and the process and the coaching to help them through this. And once you do that, it's game changer, because you don't have any competition. And when you do have competition that comes in, they make you bigger. It's great. They validate your market. So, and then you get to hold on for the ride. It's awesome.
Okay, great. That's the first misstep. Okay, that's first, two more.
Yeah. So other ones. So not having a good team. I think that's a big misstep, and we all talk about it, right? I mean, there's thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of books that talk about building teams. And really, I think the biggest misstep is business owners don't ever figure out how to scale themselves, right? So they're always thinking like, well, I have to do all of it. I'm the smartest person. I got to do everything. I got to handle everything. And you end up being a bottleneck and choking your business. So you need to find people that are better than you, right? And again, I'm not new saying this, but it works. And there's a reason why everybody says it. And if you're able to do that, then your business scales, okay? So that's number two. And then the third misstep is people don't learn. They stop learning, right? They need to be ahead. You need to be continuously reading. You need to be absorbing as much as everything is. The only thing holding back your business as a business owner is you as a business owner. You got to know that. And what you don't know is what is holding you back. And a lot of times is what you think you know is also holding you back. So you really got to dig and uncover and realize the only thing you're holding back is knowledge. That's the only thing holding you back, and possibly a team, and then the big idea of real. But the knowledge, you're focusing on the knowledge and building a team, they'll help you come up with a big idea too. So those are the big three, I think.
Thank you. Very well said. So let's keep going. So now is something positive. We want to kind of almost get it everything from you right now in this one question.
Yeah.
So what are your top 3 success secrets to create $100 billion market value for your client,
Okay.
your business? Top 3 success.
Okay. Yeah. So there's two. I mean, I would say there's two sides of this, right? So there's you as the entrepreneur business owner, what you've got to do. And number one, I believe, is I'm a true believer in law of attraction and everything else. I think you have to get your mind right. You attract what you think. So be really careful about what you think. Exactly. This is most important. Figuring this out. Okay. Second is body. You have to be in physical shape. This is an endurance race. This is an endurance race. This is not some short sort of smash and grab operation. And mind and body are together, okay? And then I would say another thing about yourself is you need to read. I read 100 books a year, okay? The average CEO is something like 60, I believe. But who wants to be average? So you have to make that choice and that decision to change, right? And I mean, Mohammed, all the experts you interview and all the books you read, I mean, it changes everything. I mean, so one book can give you $1 billion idea. That's the thing. You don't know. You're just trying to dig through all the information until you find those things. And again, what's holding you back is what you don't know. Then there's the other side, which is the business side, right? And those things are, we talked about it a little bit, the team, we talked about the vision, and we call it really the market invention idea. Like, what is the market that I'm inventing? Ask yourself this question: what market am I inventing? That's a huge success. If you start there, a lot of answers will follow. And then the last is, I would say, is getting out, okay, so there's a couple other. So with the people, the team, that's more about systems too. So you want to have systems. You've got to think about systems. You can't think like a small company. Big companies have big systems. They're able to scale. So your ability to scale to $100 billion or even $1 billion or even 100 million or even smaller, 10 million is all about your ability to systemize your business and create systems. Now, good systems enable your business. Bad systems stop your business from growing. And you got to know some systems as you grow and scale need to be changed, right? So you've got to try to understand those systems. And systems could be sales process, it could be HR process, it could be your hiring process, like all this stuff needs to, because you need people to manage these systems. So you don't have to, you can work on your business. And then last but not least is, it's really about, I would say, just holding, holding that vision. And really, we talked about the market invention strategy, having that clear. Then we talked about having, systems in place. And the reality is, the last but not least, I would argue, is really about delivering and execution, right? So I always say under promise, over deliver, okay? And you need to deliver. I mean, there's a reason why we're called merit, because if you're a $100 billion company, you have to have merit. You have to have relevance. You got to be authentic. This is not some overnight sort of smash and grab. Like, if you're in business to just make some quick money, you're in the wrong for the wrong reasons. You should be in it for a real purpose and adding real value to people. And with that requires that you deliver that value. And you got to deliver it better than anyone else in the world. A vision ain't going to help you if you can't execute it. So those three things, I think those are really the secrets, in my opinion.
Thank you. Wow, that's very, very well said. Very well said. Very well explained. Thank you so much. So, Adam, how Merit Marketing is growing their own business right now?
Yeah, so it's a lot of things, right? First, we started the market invention process on ourselves. Ironically, we're using market invention to invent market invention, and it works, right? So, and we're using it to disrupt the big four consulting companies, right? But this is not where we're stopping. I mean, we're going to expand further. We're going to use the process like some big industrial conglomerates to actually launch companies and disrupt old markets ourselves. But that's longer term, as we say. I would say when we talk about growth in the market invention, we follow the market invention process. So when we talk about how you're growing, you're in the make the market phase, which is the third phase. And what you're doing in the make the market phase is your primary objective is getting out of obscurity and educating the market, okay? Because you have a new idea. It's completely new. It's something that if people do right, it transforms their lives. So you have a need, like you have to get out there and tell people. And it's really about educating the market. And it's a combination of things, right? It could be hosting events. It could be doing, meeting with Muhammad over Zoom meeting right now, live. It could be writing a book. I have a book coming out at the end of the year. It's called Toothfish: The Origin of Markets, How to Go from Last to First. You could then get out and build your influencer brand. You could search is another big key thing, because if you think about market invention, when people are looking for a new option, where do you go when they search? They go online. So how are you projected in a search? How are you doing social media? What's your digital strategy? Like, all of that stuff is critically important. And then do you have sales systems in place, right? And that's another thing. Maybe it's you starting out and you've got to do all the sales, you got to do all the execution and everything else. The only way you can scale, right, yourself and multiply yourselves is what we do. And that's what I pride myself in being very good at, is knowing what your strengths are and hiring the offset. So if you're good at execution of the work, but you're really bad at sales, bring somebody in to help you do the sales. That can keep you on the execution. And now you've just systemized it. Now their job is to systemize the sales. And so you have it, an inside sales team. Do you have a strategic selling organization? How do the leads flow through your organization? Like, all that you got to figure out. Now, you don't have to be perfect at it at first, but we build, right? It's an iterative, agile process. So if somebody were to look at a big $100 billion company, They're probably like, oh, I can't do all of that. Well, you forget they were a startup at one time too. Like everybody forgets, they were in last place at one time. So when they were in last place, what did they do? They probably were selling and executing themselves. And then they hired maybe a sales director, or they hired somebody to do the product development because they were better at sales. You look at Apple example, Steve was an evangelist and a great salesperson. The Woz was the architect and engineer.
Yeah.
He couldn't do what it was, so they helped each other, right? So,
yeah.
Anyways.
Thank you so much. So, how the growth hacking show community can support you, Adam?
Well, feedback. I think the community is a great community, and for me, I have the book being published. I want to get it out to everyone who needs it. The book is not about making money. It's really about helping people, individual entrepreneurs, CEOs of large companies, everyone to do something unique and make this world really a better place. So that's the biggest thing is helping me get the word out about market invention, and even reaching out to me so I can help some of you get past this invisible force that's keeping you in your place. And I believe in law of abundance as well. I believe there's plenty for everybody. There always is. There's enough. If everybody in the world started inventing new markets, guess what? There's enough for everybody. There is enough. So just, that's, I think, the best way to, support me, growth hacking, and I want to be able to help you as an audience and viewers and a community, because I believe in adding value. So I need to add value too. So I want to make sure you guys, gals, are set up to succeed.
Thank you so much. Adam, as we're about to wrap up, what would you say as a final word?
I think if you're not first in your market, you're helping make the first make a lot of money, okay? And you may not realize you're doing it. And you're probably making some decent money, and that's great, but it's not life-changing wealth creation, okay? And you could be the owner, or you could be helping, you could be in charge of sales or marketing or whatever growth initiative that you're watching this. But if you're not inventing a market, you're helping grow someone else's market. So, and it's not worth getting in the business. It's just not worth the pain. Trust me, it's not worth it if you're not willing to do something new that people really need. And I know in every one of you out there watching this, there's something in you that the world needs to see. So invent a new market. Don't just go do the same thing everybody else is doing. And we need it. We need this. It'll make the world a better place. So that's my closing comment.
Thank you, Adam. Very well said. Thank you so much, Adam, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of the Growth Hacking Show community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia, wishing you good luck, good sales, and I do our podcast again with another amazing guest. Until then, all best wishes.
Thank you again. Thanks, guys.